Pep Talk UK. It's time!
Everyone's all good game, but it don't really faze me. The man that ain't mad like Max, the boy that not murky like Ace B. And them gal walk the slide on the back bar, in like a baby.
Oi, oi, it's 2017, baby.
Wait, yeah! Set, boom!
Welcome to the Pep Talk UK Sports Podcast, the podcast that talks the major boxing and football news from around the globe, real points of view from a real panel. Hashtag real talk on Pep Talk. Please subscribe to Pep Talk UK on iTunes and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share and comment. I'm your host Frankie B and I'm joined by an exciting panel today. Firstly, I'd like to welcome from the capital city of France, Paris, Pascal. How are ya?
Oh la 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 la, Frankie B, mon ami, bonne année, bonne santé, means, you know, happy new year and good health and prosperity, you know.
Yeah, happy new year, my G. What was Raven like? What was Raven like in Paris over Christmas?
Well, I'm not sure if I can go into too much details, but there's a very good club, you know, off the Boulevard Barbers, where you've got to go at late at night with the back doors, and let's just say it's members only. But it's very good, very good. We had a very good time, you know, good partying, you know, and it's the kind of place where you don't have to be too shy, you know, Frankie B. Yes. Prepare to share.
Share, okay. We're not talking about social media sharing, are we?
Non, bien sûr que non.
You want to shout out your social media, Pascal?
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, preferably ladies, please follow me on Twitter on Pascal_de_sad, also on Instagram, Pascal_de_sad. Please send me a message and your telephone number, and I'll send you some pictures of myself.
Nice. Next up, I'd like to introduce a man that is known as the Professor X of boxing punditry from the Seven Wolves platform, Terry. How you doing, Giggz?
I'm good, man. Just adjusting to 2017 and the biting cold. And no matter how many years you're in this country, you don't get used to this cold.
Was Santa good to you this year?
Santa was non-existent.
Oh dear. See, are you ready to talk some boxing?
Always.
Brilliant. Terry, you want to shout out your social media?
At the Seven Wolves. Across Twitter at the Seven Wolves, across Instagram as well. You know, if you don't want to be bored on social media, man, follow both of those. You'll never be bored, guaranteed.
Frankie B, can you please do the howling for 2017? You know, the Wolves howling. Of course.
We ready. Let's get it. Now it's time for some real talk on Pep Talk. Let's go. So we're going to start with the boxing. We are counting down to the first big fight of 2017. It's champion versus champion in a unification clash for the IBF and WBC super middleweight titles. It's James Degale versus Badou Jack. Both Shaz and I caught up with the IBF champ James Degale ahead of his super bout.
Pep Talk UK are, how do I put it politely, honoured to be joined by a world champion, Chunky himself, Mr. James Degale. How you doing, James?
All good, you know, all good, training hard, feeling good, and can't wait. It's only a couple of weeks away now, so yeah, I'm ready to go.
James, we've interviewed loads of people, and out of all the boxers, this is the first time that we've had 2 Pep Talk boys come to interview one boxer.
Oh, wow.
And I've got Frankie B in the house as well.
Big up James, yeah?
Wicked.
And Frankie wanted to be here personally because of the connection he has with your background and being a Harlesden boy.
Yeah, so James, what I want to ask you is, I'm from North Wheezy like you are, and I just want to say, how does it feel to be that inspiration to a lot of kids growing up in North Wheezy?
It's great. It's great. It's in Harlesden. It's my home. Do you know what I'm saying? I've moved out of Harlesden now, but I'm always here. I'm getting my hair cut once a week or getting some proper West Indian food. I'm always here. It's my home and I love it. I'm proud.
Yeah, one stop.
One stop. Yeah, I go one stop. I go Scandals. I go all of them. So yeah.
Frankie B loves plugging people around his neighbourhood, but I'll let you crack.
Local businesses.
Well, we support local businesses. Now, on a serious note, we're now moving forward to a title fight. Champ versus champ.
Best versus the best.
James, you don't make it very easy for yourself. Now, on a personal note, I know you personally, I see you behind closed doors, some of the work you put in. It's an away fight.
Yeah.
Something you're now all too used to. You've gone over the pond, you've fought the likes of Degale to pick up the title, you've gone and fought Butte, you've gone and fought Medina, and now Jack.
Yeah.
When are you going to have an easy fight in life?
I know, boy. There's no easy fight when you're at the top. But no, I'm really enjoying it. As I said, man, since winning the world title, I've done it the hard way. They've labelled me as the road warrior. I actually like being called the road warrior because that's what I do and that's what I'm about. I'm willing to fight anyone, anywhere, if everything's right, if the money's right, if the belts are there. That's what boxing's about, and that's what I want to do, is just keep on achieving and keep on being successful.
I saw you ticking over some months ago. How's camp been?
Camp's gone great. If I'm being honest, I trained for about 4 weeks and I was like, when's it going to come together? I had a long weekend off. I come back in the gym and I done a long spar and it just all fell into place, kind of thing. Fitness, speed, sharpness, and training's gone brilliant. As I say, I'm training my gym at Mcdonnell. You know, gym gets you in fantastic shape. Sparring's gone well, and I honestly can't wait.
I often see you running down the road, peep my horn at you. You put your miles in on the road, you put your miles in the gym. You're a fantastic athlete. Going all the way back, Olympic champ.
Biggest show on earth. It's unbelievable. I'm part of an elite group, a special group, Olympic gold medalist. So to go to the Olympic Games, the biggest show on earth, and win a gold medal for your country was a dream. It's like the pinnacle of your amateur career, and to go there and win a gold medal was honestly a dream.
It's wicked because I was at Triple G Book with you, and I had another Olympic athlete with me, Joshua Barazzi, and he was almost starstruck by you. He wanted to have a picture with you, and I was fortunate enough to take that picture. You are a role model, as Frankie said, to some of the kids here, but also in your stable you've got a couple of good young lads, Jake Ball, Reese Belotti. You've taken on this almost big brother role.
Well, I suppose with being successful and winning, I suppose it comes with it, no? Like being a role model. So you've got to live up to the expectations and keep on winning, really.
Now, I get a lot of people asking me about you because of the Club KO connection, Bucker, still James, what's he like in real life, what's he like? And I say to him, he's actually quite a private guy. He keeps himself to himself, does his business. Wherever he meets a fan, comes up to him, wants a picture. I've never seen you say no. I've always seen you make time for people. But the one question I always ask, and I'd rather it come out of the horse's mouth, Chunky, where did the name come from?
So Chunky come from when I first started boxing, I was just a bit chunky. I was fat, but my first coach was being nice and he called me Chunky, and it's basically stayed ever since. So when I turned professional, a lot of people in the boxing world still call me Chunky, and I thought, listen, if I'm when I first turned pro, I'd prefer a nickname as the Hitman, or do you know what I'm saying, or like Pretty Boy, or something like that, or something. But because it's been with me for years, I thought, why change it? You know what I'm saying, it's part of the journey.
Do you know what? James actually giving it some thought. Hitman, Pretty Boy, he's lining himself
it's
up.
True though, isn't it? Like,
no, I wouldn't. You're a world champ. I'm not going to argue with you. If you want to call yourself Pretty Boy, I'll call you Pretty Boy. I don't want to be on the end of one of them punches.
They call me chunky now. I'm not even a boxer.
But for all the wrong reasons.
That's right.
That's it. Both me and you are carrying a bit of girth. You're going to be in the States. You're going to be training in Miami. You're then going to fly in for fight night. I would say, for the time I've known you, there's something a little bit different about you. You seem to have a more steely determination, a bit more of a focus for this fight. Is it something that you've done differently?
No, it's just a big one, isn't it? It's a massive fight, and one that I've got to take with both hands. I'm just in the zone for this one. I train extremely hard, and I'm just trying to fulfill another dream of becoming a unified super middleweight champion of the world. So I'm just zoned in.
Olympic champ, unified champ of the world.
Yeah.
It's got a ring to it, isn't it?
But it is, you know, Olympic champion, British, European, IBF world champion, and now, please God, hopefully going unified division. So, I say, my record speaks for itself, and I can sit there and just, I can kill all the haters and doubters with my success. I don't have to run my mouth no more, because my results do the talking.
After Jack, there's already been talk about a fight in the UK with Callum Smith. Are you even looking that far ahead, or is Jack just your focus?
At the minute, it's just Jack. But obviously, you do think about fights after, and that is the perfect homecoming, if I'm being honest. A good, tough, solid, hyped opponent, and it should be a good fight. But I say, fully focused on Jack, not thinking about no one else.
I'd love to be in the States to watch you, but at whatever time in the silly hours of the morning, I'm going to be jumping up and down in front of my TV. I'm going to put a little note through the door to say my mate's fighting in the States, and it means the world to me. I want to see you come back with both them belts. I want to see your homecoming. I want to see you fighting in the UK. I think the Road Warrior's done his circuit, and this will be the pinnacle.
Definitely.
Go bring that belt home, Chunk.
100%. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the sport. And the future is bright still.
All the boys at Pep Talk UK and the Pep Talk lady all going to be in your corner shouting out from the rooftops, and we're looking forward to bringing that belt home.
Thank you very much.
You have a great one, brother, and thank you for the time today.
Respect, bro. Respect.
We also got an update from James Degale's longtime trainer, Jim Mcdonnell.
Thank you.
Pep Talk UK are now joined by the man behind Mr. James Degale, Jim Mcdonnell. How you doing, Jim?
Cool, mate. All good.
It's nearly upon us, the big one, the unification fight. How's camp been? How's training been? How's James looking?
In answer to all three of them questions, it's all about, I think everything's about your preparation, mentally and physically. And I think with James, I said, obviously, talent-wise, he's second to none. And you just got to come here with hard work. So not just hard work physically, but mentally. So for me, really, I'm excited. I expect a career best performance from James. Just looking at his mindset, he's gone into fights when he hasn't been tested mentally, where it hasn't given him that. But on this one, that green belt, like fighting Badu Jack, one of Mayweather's guys, again going to the Lion's Den. James, his heart's beating, his mind's pumping, and he's up for this one proper. So I personally, I'm not putting kid under no pressure, but I see the same type of attitude for the Degale fight. Just think you're going to see probably a career best performance. Like his whole attitude is just spot on, and he's just raring to go.
Having just spoken to James, he's relaxed, but there seems to be a bit of more of a steel to him, a bit of a maturity to him. Is he, I feel, now peaking?
Yeah, I think you can see the best of James in the next few years. I think also, that thing I was just saying about the challenges, when you think now, James said it himself in his own interview, it's the best against the best. The WBC against the IBF, unification, big fights, back to the days of Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Jitman Earns. You've got to remember, James is in that same elk, Olympic gold medalist, British champion, European champion, now unifying world title belts. And you know, he's Britain's best, most successful fighter to win an Olympic gold medal and go on to do what he's done. But no one's ever done it, ever. So people got to enjoy him while he's here, because you can see the best of him over the next couple of years.
His record is second to none. I think sometimes James isn't given the credit he so richly deserves. He should be celebrated as an Olympian, as a world champ, and he's doing it the hard way. He's constantly on the road, and he's on the road again.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a fighter I boxed a kid from South Africa called Brian Mitchell, and he used to be called like the Road Warrior, because he defended his title all over the world, and he boxed everyone everywhere, and the respect he got back was massive. And James is in that same ilk right now. You know, he's fighting brilliant fighters in their own backyard, so and delivering the goods and coming out with the results. So again,
Darrell, Medina, Boutte, they're good fighters.
Yeah, I mean, Darrell, to me, everyone's got their own opinions. Darrell, to me, is the best fighter ever to hold a world title. I think the kid's absolutely outstanding. The kid is mustard. And you know, when he boxed James, for James to box in his own backyard like he did, and deliver the performance he did, I said to him, for the rest of your career, I don't think you'll ever box anyone better. And whoever James boxes now, including Badou Jack, I don't know if anyone can ever test him like Darrell did. Darrell was unbelievable. He was the American version of James Degale. So I think anything James does for the rest of his career, it's never easy, but I think it'd be a tang easier than fighting Darrell. So not underestimating any of his opponents, and definitely not Badou Jack. Badou Jack's with a Mayweather team. He's a WBC green belt holder, and James ain't. The difference with this fight, though, what I've seen, is when he boxed Medina, even Boutte, to be fair, he trained for it physically. Definitely for the Medina fight, he trained for it physically, but mentally, there wasn't no challenge. He was comfortable. He was like, "Don't worry, Jimsky, don't worry," and I do worry. But for this fight, I ain't got to worry about nothing. He is on this mentally like you wouldn't believe. So I'm expecting a career best performance, and I think we'll see one as well.
We at Pep Talk are going to be cheering him on every step of the way. We always appreciate the time and effort you put in with James and with the rest of your stable, and the time you give us at Pep Talk UK. So thank you very much once again. Best of luck for fight night. We'll be rooting for you.
Wicked. I'm so gassed right now. It's next weekend and it's going to be lit. Pascal, I saw James Degale. He looked focused. I told him, do it for North Wheezy.
Of course, super, North Wheezy.
Do you make Degale the favourite for this massive super bout?
Well, Frankie B, if you recall, we had this conversation when the fight was announced, you know, and I'm still going with Badou Jack.
Wow.
But of course, yes, you know, I'm a very big fan of James Degale. You know, he's a very good, very good athlete, very good footwork. You know, he's got a bit of an unorthodox style, you know, when he likes to drop his hands, you know, quite low and tease his opponents. But, you know, James Degale also can switch off during the fight, you know, and we've seen James, you know, take some punches and some unnecessary punishment because he has a tendency to switch off, you know, during the middle rounds. But at the same time, he's very explosive and he's very unpredictable. But I've got Badou Jack. To me, he's quite a focused fighter, focused boxer. The interesting thing is James Degale and Badou Jack also fought, you know, to similar opponents, you know, when they fought the Romanian Canadian fighter, whose name escapes me. Terry, do you remember the fighter that
Lucien Boutte?
Yeah, of course, Lucien Boutte. Now, I had the fight. Badou Jack has the winning fight. You know, for some reason the judges called it a draw, and even James Degale said that when he fought Lucien Boutte, it was a very tough fight. You know, so to me, it's an evenly matched, boxing fight. But I've got Badou Jack remaining the more consistent boxer from the first bell to the second to the 12th round. Frankie. For some reason, I just believe that Badou Jack can keep the focus and can remain concentrated for 12 solid rounds of boxing and win by split decision. I do not believe that he'll be able to stop James, but I believe it could be an interesting decision that could go his way. Two judges to one, in my opinion, to Badou Jack.
Wow, you're backing Badou. Terry, now Degale's the favourite. What do you think Badou Jack can do to upset the apple cart?
When you watch Jack box, what I like about him is, he's almost the perfect combination. He's got that African physique and that solidity, but having grown up in Sweden, he's got that European love and respect for the fundamentals of boxing. But then he's been to America as well, so he's also got that extra layer of creativity in the ring, so the ability to improvise. So you look at Jack and you think, you've got all of these elements and you're fit enough to do the 12 rounds. It doesn't matter who you fight, you fight strong for 12 rounds. And all of that is a nightmare for Degale. Degale likes it when you're a bit ponderous, you're a bit basic, because then he can dance rings around you. But Jack's not basic, he's quite smart, uses a lot of feints, controls the fight pace a lot with the jab. Degale's really going to be in a fight. I'm going to say Degale to win.
Yes.
Mainly because I quite like him. I as a boxer, I like him. As a character, I like him. I'd like him to win. And I think
he's very stylistic as a fighter. Very good movement.
Exactly. And he'd be good, because once he cleans up 168, it's a legitimate call for him to fight someone like a Ward. So I think it's good for boxing for Degale to win, but he's going to have to fight his heart out, like he had to against Groves in that fight they had a few years ago.
All right, brilliant. Well, we look forward to next weekend. I'm sure it's going to be lit. Now, 2017 marks the continuation of more big fights like Garcia versus Thurman, Frampton versus Santa Cruz Part 2, and Joshua versus Klitschko. Terry, which fight intrigues you the most?
For me, Joshua v Klitschko. I think, Crawler and Linares the result will be the same. Thurman Garcia,
that's interesting.
As much as people talk Thurman up, I just think Garcia's too smart, too skillful not to have him under control. Because remember, if we go back to Garcia's career, they gave him the puncher last time, Matisse, and Garcia controlled him. And, they're giving him another puncher in Thurman. I don't think Thurman is a thinking boxer, whatever people try and tell you.
But one would say that Garcia has been a little lucky recently. He's escaped quite a few fights where he could have lost.
Motivation. I don't think Garcia gets up for, I don't think he gets up for the lower level fights. I think Garcia's a guy who needs that pressure of course, I might get my face smashed in. And then he finds another gear. So
that's what Degale says he's like as well.
And there are guys who are like that who, and you see them, they're nothing in the gym. You look at them and they're nothing. But come fight night, they just come alive. And I think Garcia's one of those. But I think the Joshua Klitschko one is the one because there's millions riding on this. And not just for the two fighters involved, but everyone to make money, Let's look. If Joshua wins, the fight with Wilder's huge. If Joshua loses, the fight with whoever isn't so big. A lot rides on that for British boxing. We need Joshua, is the truth. Whether people like Joshua or don't, we need him because he's bringing money into the sport
and excitement.
That's benefiting everyone. Well, I don't know if he's in the ring he brings a degree of excitement. Outside the ring he brings none. Wow. So we have that interesting paradox, and also the last thing you want is Vladimir Klitschko to dominate again because he's just not that entertaining for the sport, and it will turn the fans off again. And
his interviews are pretty journalistic as well, I must say. Pascal, what about you?
Wait.
What fight are you looking forward to in 2017?
Well, interestingly, I'm very much of the opinion with Terry that the Danny Garcia Thurman fight, I've got Danny Garcia as the winner, of the fight. Danny Garcia, he has his limitations, he's not the most, the quickest of, boxers at the weight division, but he's did some very good fights, and he's got a good resume, he's fought some very, very good fighters, he's defeated the likes of Amir Khan, he's defeated Lamont Peterson, he's been in the ring with some notable opponents, and, I just believe that Garcia has got what it takes to control Keith Thurman and to beat him. And he's also got very, very good left hook, very powerful left hook. Keith Thurman calls himself the one-time man because he believes he has that one-time punch to knock out people. But, the opposition that Keith Thurman has faced in comparison to Garcia, I think that Garcia has earned his stripes and he doesn't get the recognition he truly deserves, and he's fought some very, very good fighters. So So certainly I will be back in Garcia, and my opinion will be that Garcia will be winning the fight. It'll be a very close fight, I believe, but again, a split decision going Garcia's way. In terms of the Klitschko fight with Anthony Joshua, look, it's a very, very interesting fight, because, yeah. Frankly, if I'm a bit concerned for Joshua because we've got Mr. Grabinator, in Vladimir, jab. Absolutely, the grabber, and he's perfected this approach to boxing for quite some time. And Joshua's his movement as well is not particularly the best movement. I've seen in boxing. I've seen better, more mobile fighters. At the heavyweight division. If you study the history of the division, there were better movers at that particular weight division. And I'm just worried for Joshua because we've not seen him, go beyond, a certain level around. Dylan White, if I'm not mistaken, took him up to the 7, but we've not really seen Anthony Joshua in a very difficult, hard fight where he had to mix it up a bit, and dig deep, go into the trenches, and I'm just worried that he may not have the creativity that is required to deal with, Vladimir Klitschko. We're gonna give credit to Tyson Fury, because he's in his fight with Vladimir. He showed quite a lot of creativity and he frustrated, Vladimir to the point where he was able to defeat the champion. So there is definitely some credit to be given to Tyson, and I just hope that Joshua can shock us. But I think for boxing, it'd be good to have Anthony Joshua win the fight because Joshua is on the ascendancy, and Vladimir should be, almost handing over the baton to him if he loses the fight. But
our argument would say is if Klitschko wins, boxing's going to be totally dead again. Because when he was champion, let's face it, it was pretty drab for a little while.
It was a bit boring, but if Klitschko wins, then does it mean that he has to fight Deontay Wilder, or does he just go into a unification route and start to fight the likes of Parker, reclaims his WBA belt and then goes to America to fight Deontay Wilder? That'd be a good fight, Deontay Wilder, Vladimir Klitschko. The problem is, neither Vladimir or Anthony Joshua are exciting outside the ring. I have much more fun looking at Derek Chisora, who is much more entertaining, inside and outside of the ring. And the problem is boxing is an exciting sport. Anthony Joshua, has got the physique, the looks, and the appeal to galvanize the general public into following him and watching the sport on TV, which is fantastic, and he conducts himself very well for the sport, but at the same time, we would need to see a bit more of him. Personality wise, he's quite a plain man, but look, perhaps he's being told to have this appeal to be able to be marketable. I'm sure he's very good at cracking a few jokes, amongst friends and families. But yet, that's a very good fight that I'm looking forward to see. And also, it'll be very good to see the much talked about on social media, the Amir Khan and Kell Brook fight.
Kell Brook, I was about to mention.
Yep. That to me, Frankie B, that'll be a very good fight at welterweight, and what would be great is, is for the purpose of business. If they sidestep Errol Spence and give Khan the opportunity to fight Brook and all British. In an all British, Wembley Stadium affair.
Wembley.
That I can see that being very popular as well. So, these are my predictions.
But
potentially for the
Terry, people still want to see Khan.
Yes, because strangely enough, Khan has that same thing George Groves has. They can always talk you into believing them. So when you hear Khan saying Brook's not on my level, you kind of know Brook could knock him out. But yeah, I want to see this because I think I wrote this on Twitter. Let's be honest. If Khan had a chin, he might not be defeated at this point. I don't think Khan's ever lost. He's probably lost 3 or 4 rounds in his career. He's one of these people that will either win comfortably or get knocked out. There's almost no, apart from the Mcdonnell fight, there's almost no real cut and thrust. Actually, in the McCloskey fight. There's no real life or death fights with Khan. It's either just, fast hands, feels like you're being hit by an octopus and then, win on points, or he gets knocked out.
Amir Khan seems very, very confident. I think these guys had a lot of sparring back in the day, and for some reason, he thinks he's got the better of Kell Brook. I think it is interesting, but I would have liked to have seen it last year as opposed to this year.
So with me, the thing that makes this fight interesting is you've got one guy who has ridiculous speed.
Yeah.
And in the other corner you have a guy who has ridiculous timing. So Brook has timing in the same way that the greats do, where you watch him and he'll get shots off that he shouldn't be able to, but he times you so well. And that will be interesting to see if does speed beat timing or does timing beat speed. And that's always an interesting clash there.
Eddie Hearn make the fight. So guys, Anthony Croller's rematch with Jorge Linares for the WBA lightweight title has been confirmed today. It's breaking today. Pascal,
wait,
what is Anthony Croller going to have to do differently to get the win over the superb Linares?
Yeah, first and foremost, he's going to have to study the first tape, the first fight between him and Linares, and go through every single round and understand where he went wrong. George Linares is a very good fighter. I've got good admiration for Linares, particularly in his private life and the kind of things he's experienced. By leaving Venezuela at the tender age of 16 and to relocate to another country. It takes a lot of character, mental strength to readapt and to continue following the dream of world championship. And he's done that very well. And he's now very much part of popular Japanese culture. And so he transcends culture, color, and everything else. So it's a remarkable story for anybody to follow, and to inspire every boxer and every human being. It's just remarkable. But in terms of the fighting ability of Anthony Croller is a decent fighter, decent boxer. But Linares is in a different league of his own, and he's a very aggressive, come forward, South American style fighter. And what Anthony Croller may have to be prepared to do is to do, what he's never really done before is, go from 3rd to 4th gear pretty quickly during the fight, because if you remember during the first fight, Croller realized very much during the middle to late rounds that he was behind on the scorecards, and he was doing whatever he could to get back into the ring, to get back into the fight, and it was a bit too late, because he had given too much time and too much opportunities to Linares to impose himself. So Croller is going to have to come out, from all guns blazing, and to try to impose himself in the ring, take center stage of the ring, and try to impose his jab early, and provide Linares with difficulties by using good movement and good combination. But Linares is no pushover. He's still a very, very well equipped fighter, very intelligent fighter, and I do believe that Linares will also fancy himself again a second time against Crawler, because he's got the mental edge. You know, he knows he can beat him because he's beaten him before, and he may well be, you know, an exceptional fight for Crawler. I mean, Crawler, for Crawler to come victorious and to gain some confidence, he may well need to stop Linares, you know. And I'm not sure that has ever been done before. I mean, I know that Linares has lost a few times, but you know, I'm not sure that Crawler has got the power to stop Linares. But it will be a very interesting fight, you know, in Manchester. It's a cracking city, and I'm sure the atmosphere will be good and may well carry Crawler to a victory. But I still remain, you know, on the side of caution, and I think Linares wins the rematch as well.
So that's what you're putting your mortgage on, Linares?
Yeah, Linares, yes.
So Terry, do you think this is going to be light work for Linares this time? Easier?
Let's remember Crawler's fighting spirit, you know, and what he's come back from, and the journey from the burglary incident to winning the world title. Crawler's a tough man mentally and physically. Yeah. His only problem
he reminds me of the boxing 50 Cent, you know. Got shot 9 times but still standing. He got burgled and he got assaulted, but he's still standing.
Exactly, and and he was a champion. But with someone like Linares, you know, Linares is equally as tough, and then it boils down to the technical side of things. And for me, Linares is always quicker with the punches and is always clever in the punches that he chooses. It's almost like rock, paper, scissors, and Linares seems to just know what Crawler wants to do before and is able to just counteract that. And I don't know how you do that, because you can watch that tape of Linares as much as you want, but as soon as Crawler changes his attack, Linares will change in the ring. So Linares is he's almost like a better version of Crawler, if that makes sense.
But with better footwork, yeah.
Exactly. And Crawler will realise that at the end of this fight and go, actually, I fought one of the best who's doing it right now.
That's right. The best, one of the best who've done it right now.
Yeah.
Now, away from boxing, Ronda Rousey was stopped in the first round against Amanda Nunes at UFC 207. Now, Pascal, Rousey is getting bare criticism for her boxing skills. Are these justified?
Of course. You know, I mean, interestingly, I was watching the fight, you know, several times, you know, from various social media outlets, and you know, the concerning thing is that the footwork of Ronda is not very good. You know, it's you know, she's just the mobility, the fluidity of the footwork isn't good enough. You know, particularly for someone that's been out of the fighting state for quite some time. You know, it was important for Ronda to make a statement, a return to, you know, to past glories by winning this fight. And I'm just not sure whether the training camp went particularly well, or whether Ronda is not showing the strength, the mental strength of a fighter to carry on, you know. And certainly, you know, Kelly Holmes has exposed her lack of boxing ability. You know, very, very one-dimensional fighter. The hand movements were not particularly good. You know, her striking.
She likes the clinch. She likes the clinch.
The clinch, she's better in the clinches, in the close contact, but she has a very bad use of the jab. And her defense as well wasn't very good, you know, and she was taking shot after shot after shot from Nunes, and it was just completely unacceptable. Her head movement doesn't exist, you know, and you have to blame the boxing coaches, you know, the boxing coaches have to take some responsibility for not showing Ronda and teaching her the basics and the fundamentals of boxing, you know. She's a very good all-round martial artist, but, you know, there is always going to be an element of stand-up and fight in UFC in the cage, you know, and he's certainly having a good boxing understanding, good boxing movement, you know, and certainly having good footwork is important as well as everything else. And I'm just concerned that you know, the boxing is being neglected as part of fighting preparations.
You know, I watched the whole fight on the news. All 48 seconds of it on the news.
Of course. it's very shocking. You know, it's shocking for you know, a lady like Ronda Rousey, who was at the top of her game for such a long time, you know, and then gradually, you know, it's a fall from grace, and she continues to be, you know, to be down there, you know. I mean, she's talking about
Arsenal
retiring.
Fall from grace, like Arsenal.
I mean, Arsenal, you know, it's you know,
we'll get to that, yeah.
There's still an element of competition, but, you know, I mean, with Ronda, 48 seconds defeat, Frankie B, is unacceptable. People make love in much longer time than that, you know. It's just unbelievable. 48 seconds. I'm
on a toilet seat longer than that in the mornings, man. Terry, where does Ronda Rousey? Where does she go from here? Movies, Hollywood, motivational speeches.
So she retires. Let's be brutally honest. She retires because in that fight, you saw someone who just didn't want to be there. And I think there's something, and if you've ever been in the ring or in a combat sport, everyone knows that moment when you just think, I don't need this anymore. Like, most great fighters have this ignorance about them where they're happy to accept being punched and kicked in the face. And for them, it's something they accept, it's something they embrace. And then one day it just changes, and maybe life got in the way. Maybe she had too much success and it got to her. But it's a shame we haven't got Ange on today, if I'm being honest with you, because one of the things I did say after that fight was there's no longer any money in women's fighting. Like, Ronda Rousey was like Floyd Mayweather. She brought so much money to female combat through endorsements. She was opening doors that others could have hopefully followed through.
Yeah.
But without Ronda Rousey, you're like, well, who else? Like, no disrespect to Nunes, but Nunes can't be on the cover of ESPN. Cyborg can't be on the cover of ESPN. They can't advertise in a way that Rousey could. So it's a shame, but I think this is almost that bubble bursting in female combat, and it will go back to the dark ages like it was. You know, I don't think Nunes will make the money she made in this fight ever again, because there isn't anyone out there. You know, Miesha Tate's retired, Rousey will retire, and then the rest of them, to be honest, we're not really that bothered about.
It's game over, Rousey. We'll wait and see what she decides to do. Now it's football time. Joining us now, I'd like to welcome a return to a man that has his own YouTube channel, a regular on Arsenal Fan TV. Hold on, it's... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It's Troopz. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, my brother, man?
What's going on, my doggy? No problem, man.
You know how it goes, man.
So,
out and all that.
Wenger out. The banners are back out, yeah?
Yeah, they're coming out, blood. Trust me, they're coming out very soon.
So, Troopz, you want to tell us what you've been doing? It's been a minute, so you want to update the listeners?
Just trying to build my YouTube channel, man. Just trying to get noticed and whatnot. Just same old, man. Trying to just building.
Trying to build.
We got the Cheeky Sport podcast on Rinse FM. That's normally out on Fridays, and then we got the GRM, which is more laid back. That's out on normally Tuesdays. But yeah, man, we got a couple of things in the pipeline going down.
So basically, big things are going.
Yeah, man, 2017 is the year, trust me.
You know. Okay, so the big game tonight was Spurs versus Chelsea, and it ended 2-0 at White Hart Lane to the Spurs. Now, Terry, are Chelsea likely to relax a bit and still march on to the title, or has this opened the door for all the other elite teams?
I'm going to put a tenner on United to win the Premiership.
They're creeping. They're
just doing their business off the grid. You know, you've got to thank Spurs tonight. Pochettino showing the French idiot how to manage a team in North London. You know, I don't like Tottenham winning, but when it stops Chelsea, then, you know, lesser of two evils, I guess. Chelsea could still win it. They're not playing in Europe, so the time that it really matters, as we all know, is the beginning of March, when everyone's tired and the bodies are broken and you've had a bit of a cup run, and then most of the serious clubs have to go back into Europe to go and do their business, and Chelsea don't have to this time, so they can just play once a week and rest.
Yeah, and that helped Leicester last season. And this season, you've seen that they found it way more difficult. They're what, 5th from bottom?
I still think they'll get relegated.
Do you know what? I wouldn't rule it out. I'm going to be real. I wouldn't rule it out. And that would be historic, mate.
I think when you take a bunch of average players and they play outside themselves and they reach a mountaintop they know they'll never reach again, I just think you get that kind of sporting depression of just, and they're just having that now where, it's spiralling out of control.
Well, anyway, the result means that Arsenal are just 8 points off Chelsea. It's a few games, isn't it? It's a few games. Now, Pascal, is 8 points too big of a gap to close, or is there still a long way to go?
Well, it's a very, very good question, Frankie. Look, if it's 8 points and you are a team like Manchester United, or you are a team like let's just say Manchester City, there's an opportunity for you to think perhaps the gap can be closed. But with Arsenal, we have the tendency to lose, games that are quite important, and we make very easy games difficult, and we make difficult games more difficult. So, I mean, from my point of view, Frankie, I still believe that there's an opportunity for Arsenal to shock, but it all comes down to what Arsene Wenger is going to do during the January transfer window. We certainly need to recruit some players. There's concerns over Coquelin's fitness. Whilst Danny Welbeck is coming, he still needs a few games for him to adapt himself, and we don't know whether the injury could be a recurring injury. Cazorla is also out of the picture, and certainly the creativity has been lost since his departure, to the injury list. So, I think Arsene Wenger does need to recruit some players, creatively, to get a few players on loan. But we certainly need a bit more creativity from the midfield to be able to recuperate those points. But, once the Champions League schedule begins as well, there's going to be difficulties. And not to mention the FA Cup as well, which I believe Wenger is trying to win again for an 11th time.
It's going to be tricky. I mean, Terry, do you think realistically Arsenal can come back in the title race?
No, we won't. As long as we've got that idiot in charge at the Emirates, we will never win the Premiership. And this is why he will not recruit a Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira type player. He just won't. A guy who will pull every player in before that game and say, if you cost us the game, I am going to snap you in half. He won't get that player in. We've got Coquelin as our holding midfielder. The guy's a feather, he's nothing. He's useless. He had one good game against Man City that got him a contract, and that idiot sat in that midfield position ever since. He's rubbish, I'll give Wenger credit. I like Granit Xhaka. I think Xhaka is what we needed. But if you're going to play Xhaka, a guy who can spray balls out and do whatever, where the hell are the runners? We don't have 3 runners up front to make the most of that. So what ends up happening is Xhaka does all the right things, then the game slows up front. And the problem now is Wilshire's now looking like the greatest ever Arsenal midfielder, just because he's not there. But I don't like Wenger. I think he's killing the club. I think the Arsenal fans that say he should stay are the kind of people who tie their shoelaces when a fight kicks off. They're just backboneless, spineless. We're not going to win the Premiership as long as that idiot's in charge, because he won't recruit steel. Guys who will just roll their sleeves up and say, let's fight. Look, man, did you see Bellerin get bullied? Yeah.
I thought that was a foul, though. I'm going to be real. I thought that was a foul.
Doesn't matter. Jump in with him, fight him for that damn ball. It annoys me, and the reason it annoys me is we know it's always going to happen. As soon as any team is up for it physically, these guys go missing. Every one of them goes missing, and that's not a cheap squad. That's not Wenger shopping in the bargain basements of lower league France. That's Wenger spending millions, and these guys are letting him down and he's letting them down, because I don't think he's a guy who's going to demonstrate any kind of leadership. Look at Conte. From his Juventus days, tough midfielder, tough man, managed Juventus, tough man, managed
Italy, with the greats as
tough
well.
Man.
Yeah,
exactly, tough man, a leader. His team shows leadership. Mourinho, big personality, leader, turned it around at United. He's doing it. Pochettino, another tough man. For Argentina, very tough man. When he played in Spain, tough man. And his team has that toughness as well, where they'll put teams to the sword. And then we've just got old pillow personality Wenger, who's just as soft as anything.
Soft like ice cream, yeah?
Like, soft like trash.
Trooper.
It was a joke. It was an embarrassment. And it just... People... Yeah, you have to give credit for coming back to 3-3, but we shouldn't have been 3-0 down in the first place. This is Bournemouth Football Club. This ain't Man United away, or Liverpool away, Chelsea away, Tottenham away, City away. This is Bournemouth Football Club, yeah? They was in League 2
against Arsenal. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They was in League 2 maybe 6-7 years ago. And we're 3-0 down to them, man. What really peed me off, you had Bournemouth fans taunting us, singing to us, can we play you every week? Like, this is a joke, brother. This is all down to Wenger. This is down to Wenger. I said it after the Arsenal Liverpool game, the first game of the season. He's downgraded the club. He's downgraded the club, fam. We used to be a club that attract world stars, blood. You understand? We never used to have contract issues, blood. Do you think Bergkamp would have a contract issue? Vieira, Henry, Pires. These men were just, you got a new deal coming up. Alright, cool. I'm gonna sign. Look at Sanchez, blood. I don't blame Sanchez.
Stretching. Yeah.
I don't blame him, blood, because
he's getting fed up.
Get me? He's getting fed up, blood. And yesterday, when the full-time whistle blew, he was right in front of us at the away end, and he just threw his gloves and just walked off. Sure, tried to say to him, Sanchez just told him to F off, because you see it, like, I don't blame him, because he's had enough. Like, he's at a level where he needs to be playing with world-class players, week in, week out, winning league titles, competing for the Champions League, and he's not doing it. He's competing for fourth, blood. And it's a joke, fam. It's a joke, man. And what else gets me mad, yeah, is that this stupid Arsenal fan base, yeah, I go home and away, yeah, and all I hear is, we got Ozil, but where is the guy, bruv?
Ozil, yeah.
Where has he been, fam? People say, he showed up in the Chelsea game. What? We paid 42 million for a man to play one good game a season, yeah? Where was he at City away? Where was he at Everton away?
Yeah.
When we need these men.
But don't you agree, Troopz? The thing with Ozil is he can't win the game on his own. Like, he can't make the whole team play well by himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, Sanchez can take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah,
but exactly. Ozil needs the team to play well, then he can play well.
Yeah, that's why I say he's not world class. He has world class ability, but the man is not world class. World class is Sanchez. World class is Aguero, Suarez, Neymar, Bale, Ronaldo, Messi. These kind of Hazard, these men are world class, blood, yeah? Mesut Ozil has world class ability, but he doesn't show it on a consistent basis, blood. And to be a world class player, you have to perform consistently in big games, blood. And he is the main bottler in the big games, fam.
No, hold on. You know what? I remember watching Ozil. I've seen Ozil play for every club. Yeah? He didn't go missing for Madrid. He didn't go missing in Gelsenkirchen for Schalke. He didn't go missing for Germany in the World Cup. He doesn't go missing anywhere else except for Arsenal, because he knows it's going to be okay. No one's going to say anything to him, so he can have an off game.
He's got like a get out of jail free card, like Wenger. He can do what he wants. He can walk around, do what he wants. Don't run down the ball. Dodge headers in the last minute away from home to cost us the game 2-1.
Shocking.
We're not going to get the 3 points, but
but the organisation is wrong as well. Why is Ozil marking Ashley Williams in the Everton game? Like, that is terrible. That shows you,
and that shows you as well that Steve Bold has no input in the team, fam. The man just say yes, man.
He's any guy.
Yeah, blood, I've realised with Wenger now, fam. You see Wenger, yeah? If you have an opinion, he don't want you nowhere near the club, blood. You got rid of Adams, he's got an opinion. Got rid of Henry, he's got an opinion. Vieira, all of them have opinions, blood. He's got a bag of yes man around him, i.e. Steve Bold, Freddie Ljungberg, Robert Pires. Not denying that these 3 players that I've just named are Arsenal legends, but these men are yes man. You understand? Tony Adams would not stand for this, would not stand for the way the defence is defending him, blood. He would not stand for that, fam. If Adams was the assistant coach, yeah, the goals we conceded yesterday would not have occurred, blood. Because Bellerin wouldn't have been that
shocking.
He wouldn't have been that. Come on, blood. The whole away end was shouting, fam. Hector, behind you, Hector. The whole away end, blood. And then Ramsey, the hand roll. The guy's pointing to Bellerin. Oh, look.
But then who you marking, blood? Why don't you run
Shocking,
and close
man.
it down? Even Xhaka with the penalty. What are you doing?
Mate, that was madness.
What are you doing?
That was
Bellerin again for the
madness.
third goal. He's just getting bullied he's getting bullied, fam. He's getting bullied, blood. And this all comes down to the manager, blood. The mentality of the team is instilled from the manager. When you look at Liverpool, yeah, they play like Klopp. Mad.
The energy, yeah, the energy.
Fast, energy, passion.
there.
They play like Klopp, like. When you look at Arsenal, they play like Wenger. It's passive, it's poisoning, it's slow, it's old, it's 10 years behind. You know what I mean? Every team reflects their manager, blood, and we reflect our manager. A failure.
So what you saying? What you saying? He's a specialist in failure?
He is, blood. And you know what? Yeah, I hate to agree with Mourinho, blood. Cause you know how I feel about that mug, innit? Hand roll, blood. But the only piece of sense that come out that man's mouth was calling Wenger a success in failure, because the man fully is.
Yeah.
Top 4 trophy and all this. I'm done with it, blood.
Do you know the funny thing is, like, ironically, I was talking to someone saying that, look, this could be Wenger's last year, and Mourinho potentially could out Arsenal out of the top 4, take that spot in Wenger's potential last year. That would be so ironic.
Can you imagine that? Your
arch
top
enemy.
4 trophy gets taken away by your nemesis.
I know you're like mad passionate about Arsenal, so am I. But we've got to talk about Man United as well. They're creeping up. They are 2 points behind Arsenal.
You know what I mean?
What's going on?
A couple months back, we were ripping them, bantering them. You know what I mean? Making vines out of them, saying, "Where's Pogba? Yo, Pogba, turn up, blood. Pogba's about, fam." You know what I mean? Ibra is about, blood. These men are about, fam. You have to take Man United seriously, blood.
Now, Pascal, over to the other team in Manchester. Now, Guardiola, he was getting kind of defensive the other day. Like, what's that all about? His team won 2-1, and he was getting real arsey with the journalist. What's good?
You know, Frankie B, I think that people are beginning to realize that, Pep Guardiola is not quite the special manager that we once saw he was. He's had some very difficult games, in his first season in charge of Manchester City. And, I'd be even prepared to say that he's probably the manager that is struggling the most, If you recall, when Roberto Mancini took over the club, he performed relatively well. They won the league. And
until he started fighting with Balotelli.
And yes, of course, till they had these problems. We know these the fiery Italians, they don't get on. But Pep Guardiola is finding.
I think that's what Arsenal needs, though. Arsenal needs Mancini, someone like Mancini.
No,
man.
He won't allow people to run through the midfield like that, Terry. Real talk.
Nah, listen, I watched that City team he managed, man. Nah. I'd take Pellegrini though.
Pellegrini?
I'd take Simeone.
Simeone, yeah. The spirit,
You see Simeone, he will bang Ramsey in his face, fam. That's what he needs, blood. Just bang him in his face, blood. Tell him to cut, fam. Bang all of them, blood. Even, you see Czech yesterday, fam. Jesus Christ, man.
Czech, mate. His best days are behind him, for sure.
Done. You're on the by Mourinho's shoulder.
Yeah. The thing is with Czech, you can clearly see that his best days are gone. He's been beaten at the near post on every occasion now. The ball went through his legs.
Oh God!
He never saves a penalty as well. Never.
The last penalty he saved was in the Champions League final, bro.
Yeah. That's why Spina's staying. Spina's just being patient and saying, "Look, I know Czech's falling off. I might as well just bide my time. I'm going to get that number 1 spot soon."
I've been calling for Czech to get dropped for time, bro.
But he's flaky. He's flaky as well, though.
Well, Spina.
He's short, man. Yeah,
he's done well this year, though. I'm not gonna lie. When we went PSG away and I saw him in the lineup, I was like, "Oh, what are you doing to me, bro?" But then he literally got us out of that, out of Paris with a point, bro. He's done really well this year, Spina. I have to give him his props.
Not a leader, though.
That is true, but does Czech really look like a leader? Because they don't look like he's commanding the defence.
I like Ospina's chant when he's about to take a goal kick.
Yeah.
Oh, Spina. That's quality. But I mean, like, in some respects, I think there's some comparisons between Man City and Arsenal. Both teams just look flaky and they look fragile. What do you think Man City are going to achieve, Terry?
I think Guardiola suddenly realised, man, English football's a completely different beast. And
Terry, you know, you need to get him a rum and coke. He needs to chill. He was getting mad arsey with the journalists.
He was, man. I mean,
It was funny.
The thing
Man
is,
said, "I'm happy. Happy New Year."
I just remember something Mourinho said. Like, I remember them asking Mourinho about how do you think Guardiola will cope in the Premiership, and Mourinho said, you know, Guardiola thinks he's going to come in and he's going to play tiki-taka and just dominate the Premiership. He's like, he will realise within 3 months English football's completely different. And Mourinho was like, I don't know if he'll cope with that.
Pascal, moving on to Liverpool, they're still in contention basically, but they had a disappointing result against Sunderland. Now, Liverpool, where do you think they're going to end up in the season?
I think that Liverpool are the dark horses, you know, and there's a possibility for them to be fighting to the very, very end. You know, we are seeing a Liverpool team, as Troopz just said, that is full of vigor, full of enthusiasm, and you know, that is emulating the coach in Jurgen Klopp, and these are players that will play for the coach to the very last minute, and I think that Liverpool will be competing to the very, very end, and you know, it would be a battle to the very end between, in my opinion, Chelsea, Manchester United and Liverpool will be competing for that top spot, you know.
So that's our time. I'd like to thank Terry, I'd like to thank Pascal, I'd like to thank Troopz. Join us again next week.